Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shijun Wang. Today I am going to start a new ballad, the Chopin Ballade No. 4. This is really a brand new repertoire for me. I started learning this in the beginning of this year, 2021. And I really fall in love with this immediately. I want to give you a little bit of a background or a little bit of stories related to this piece. Yeah? Like we talked about in the first ballad, it was associated with the balladi, one of the balladi, but of course Chopin never confirmed it, and it's just speculation and people guessed since him and then that patriotic Polish poet were very close, and basically he was one of Chopin's heroes that he follows. And this has something to do with a story about three brothers with the same father, of course, but the father sent them away to three different places. One went to Germany, one went to Russia, the other went to Poland, seeking treasure. Right? They went hunting for treasure, but many years passed by. The old father thought, oh, I lost all of my sons, they're not coming. But just as he was giving up the hope, he saw the brothers coming back one by one. No treasure, but with a Polish bride. They was married with a Polish girl. So we don't know. We probably have to ask a professor in Polish literature on the really true meaning behind this. It's written during the war between the Russian and the Polish, the invasion of Poland. So it might have some hidden meanings. But even it's true that these stories really is what inspired Chopin to write this piece. I wouldn't suggest everyone to just think you can only play this well by knowing those stories. I think it just opened up maybe one of 1,000 possibilities to have your own personal interpretation of the piece. All right, and I personally I think this is the hardest, among all four ballades. And this is the reason why. When we play the piano, it's of course easier. I mean, it's easier to play loud and deep. Yeah, for me, it's at least. Yeah, for instance, in the first ballad, the very beginning, you just do a very deep and slow touch. Yeah, everything is so clear and expressive. Here, everything is really quite deep. The light things, they're urgent. Yeah, it's still a intense feeling. In this piece, however, most of the downbeats, Chopin marked a staccato. And these kind of staccato, in my opinion, has nothing to do with short and leggero. Yeah, it's the opposite compared to the Liszt etude. Yeah, this kind of sparkling staccato. This is very gentle, and I think Chopin is trying to do his best to diminish the feeling of downbeat. Yeah. So instead of 1, 2, 3, he's trying to. Yeah, he's trying to have as little impact as possible on these notes. Yeah. So instead of down, it's an up motion. I think that alone is probably one of the hardest things to achieve in playing this piece. The opening is also a very difficult section. First of all, the right hand starts with a repeated G, 10 times before it reaches the climax, right? Before it reaches the top. So we have to really pace it well, yeah? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we have to start from super soft, yeah? And it's not deep sound, yeah? It's the opposite with the beginning note of the first ballad. Almost is like it's coming from far away, but you don't know exactly when it appears. Yeah, it's just kind of coming into you. And how did I do to achieve this kind of sound? I imagine my arm being controlled by a puppet master. Yeah, just with all the strings attached, is controlling my arms and my legs. So there really has no weight on my arms. I'm not putting the weight down, but it's almost like hanged like that. And to add more difficulty, right hand starts with more to less. So right hand is doing a crescendo while the left hand is doing a diminuendo, and also the length of the phrases are different. Yeah, right hand is much longer, left hand is just somewhere in the middle. So to practice that really takes a long time. Yeah, we have to practice hand separate a lot. So a couple of things to talk about here. Number one, we know sometimes when Chopin has multiple voices, he would give us a parallel. And we really truly just have two options, parallel thirds and parallel sixths. And they are eventually really the same thing, because a third, if you flip it, it's the sixth, right? Or the other way, it's a sixth. And whenever there is that parallel, it creates mostly, yeah, usually it creates a warm feeling. Yeah, so one, it's not as warm as a doubled, like a double sixth or double third. And here, occasionally we will have that. Yeah, so in measure 3, then we have a doubling. Another, yeah, so we want to just enjoy those moments a little more, yeah, be more sensitive to that. And the other thing is, if we don't count the first measure, which is really like everything, the beginning of everything, the real phrasing starts in measure 2, yeah, and then it repeats, and then from measure 6 it comes the second half of that, so almost like a extra fragment. Yeah, and now is the beginning of the theme, and as we can see, all the left hand downbeats were marked staccato, but gentle staccato, or I would call them departing notes instead of arriving notes. Yeah. And here, if we only consider the melody, yeah, in these phrases, we would naturally do a diminuendo di, do, di, do, towards the end. Di, do, di, do, di. However, if we analyze the harmony, it really is just a simple struggle between the tonic, yeah, the minor 1, do, do, and then the diminished 7, of course with always with a tonic pedal point underneath. So we can't do harmonically, it's not allowing us to do this, but instead more intensity. And now as the harmony eases up, we're modulating to the relative major, A flat. Now the same harmonic progression, a little more. And one more thing really interesting that I have to point out is in left hand accompaniment, all of these are after the bass or after the downbeat are going down, yeah, downward motion, and most of them are having 3 notes, yeah, but only in measure 11 it's an interval, only C and A, yeah, there's no E in there. I think it's of course not a coincidence, it's something Chopin deliberately put there to create more motion, more movement. Yeah, yeah, he wants us to arrive on that final E flat a little sooner. Not literally sooner, but feeling like there you don't hit the brake. Yeah, yeah, instead of writing full chords. More intense. This F major always, every time I play to here, it always gives me hope. Yeah, because here it's minor second. Do, di, da, di, it's major. Yeah, if we just play. Yeah, if we play minor, it gives a totally different feeling. It's more opened up. And also the left hand is going down instead of, but an octave lower also create that openness. Something extra. And the reason why every time I hear I feel like this is something less, yeah, more intimate. Because if this is, the next one should be, that should be going up instead of going down. Still see this inner harmonic structure is determining what we're doing in the music. Yeah, and of course from measure 23 it's almost the same thing coming again, but with occasionally right hand doing ya di da di da di. So here I really advise everyone to not play them extremely even. It has no character, it has no rhetoric feeling. If you do ba da ba 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 ba, ya bum ba bum ya di da di da, almost play this as if you're speaking. And this the main theme why I mentioned about the three brothers story. The first time, yeah, it's one of the brothers, and then in measure 58, it's the second one, the second journey or adventure, whatever you call it, and then 152. Yeah, it's almost like a variation, but 3 times. When we reach the third page, this is measure 38. This is really the basement of this whole piece. Yeah, that's the lowest point. So don't start too soft as if that's the lowest point. Yeah. So two pages later. Something murmuring, something, the power is, the intensity is accumulating, but really in the ground, underneath, below the ground. And this, we still need to do a lot of shaping, and that the same feeling gives me, this part gives me almost like the slow version of. Of course, again, it's the double octave, but it's in the Chopin Sonata number 2, the last movement is. And here, the right hand, yeah, crucial to have that voicing done, and measure 42, there is a beautiful modulation. And here again, although Chopin marked mezzo voce, a half voice or medium voice, it's something hopeful, because the left hand no longer has this going down or teardropping figure, but going up. Yeah, that changes everything. And here, everything is going to more major. Although Chopin did not mark forte, but it's really obvious. He put a big crescendo before, and everything is opened up. And here, right hand has 2 drops. Yeah, it's almost like a duet. Yeah, just one imitating each other. And here we have to phrase each one of them, and sometimes, if possible, imitate each other. Yeah, so I did and it's almost like the joy you experience when you're playing chamber music. Yeah, the first violin is doing something, and then you have the same motive, and then you imitate what the first violin or whatever, whoever started the theme, and usually it feels even better if you've never communicated with language. Yeah, you just have to feel, and of course you have to listen with your ears. Yeah, and peculiar enough, here you go up 3 times, but then the most, yeah, the third time you have a solo. Yeah, so and more voices joining. So here really that's the most I think that's the climax of the first three pages. Every note you have to play down to the bottom. And diminuendo on this one note. Listen to the end. Yeah, and then we will work on the second brother, the second time that Chopin stated the theme next week. Thank you for watching.